Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to this week's healing subscription. I hope you've had a good weekend. On this side, it's really hot. As you can see, I've got some sun, so I'm dressed a little summery today. Um, for today's session, we have a whole bunch of things yet again. I have the Atlantean Paddles coming in. We have the Universal Pendulums coming in. We have the Wands of Horus cards coming in. We have soul plan cards coming in. And all of this is on the grid. So I've done all of the dowsing beforehand. I've checked what we need to do, what we need to do where, what emotions, all of those, but I haven't analyzed anything yet. I literally just went through dows, right, notes. And so I'm going to do the analysis as we work through the session together. So yeah, I'm going to be multitasking today with paddles and pendulums, but it's a really powerful combination. So let's see what come up for today. And I'm going to share screen, and we're working here, share. So hopefully you can see our screen with our tune in for today. So let's take a moment to tune into what it is that you want to achieve. What would you like to manifest or work with in today's session? What would you like to release? What would you like to receive? So as I was preparing for today's work, it came through that we're working with our dreams and aspirations. And so this light code is for working with our dreams. And so this is our tuning for today. There was also a very strong Atlantean connection in today's session. That's why the Atlantean paddles came out. And there was an interesting surprise coming as well, because sort of things are revealed beforehand, but I'm not going to go into that yet. So let's focus on what it is that you want to achieve. So spend a few moments, tune in, take a few deep breaths in and out. Set your intention for today's session. Allow your eyes to rest on the light code or to trace the light code, whatever is appropriate for you for today. And when you're ready, you can firmly plant your feet into the ground, and we are going to move into the healing session. So we have our grid layout for today, using the Wands of Horus grid, which has got an outer ring and an internal ring. Those symbolize different aspects of our lives and bodies. You don't need to know what these meanings are. And basically the way it works is that, let me just grab a card. Each of the cards have a front and a back. So each of them has got a bit of like a torus field around them, a magnetic field that goes. And by placing the card down on the grid, it has its own field, which then starts interacting with all the cards' fields in the area. Each card's got a combination of different chips within them with different metals. It's orgonite as well as this magnetic field in here. And so each one's got a different frequency and toroidal field. Put them together in a circle, we create a pattern, like a vortex pattern that swirls around in this pattern. So there's a swirling pattern that's happening. In the center, we've got our light code, and then everything that we're working with today is being stacked on top of that. I'll be working with the Atlantean paddles over this grid. Our cards are going on here, and everything's going to go into the same pile. So let's get cracking. And so technically you are sitting within the center of this vortex. Just remember that, because our connection, our tune in, your intention that you said, that's sitting in the center. So our first cards that came up, or our cards that came up for today, is the 22-4 and the 19-1. And these are our separations and our polarity. So the polarity card here is the grace and connection complex. So this is all about completion. It's about beauty and ugliness. That is our polarity for this particular card. Um, it is about completion and accomplishment. So, do you manage to complete things that you start? Do you achieve what it is that you're wanting to achieve? Um, and do you accept your life and your reality? Or do you feel that there's a fight happening between those? The solution card that we have is 19-1. And so when we've got 19-1 connected with the 22-4 card, um, it gives us a separation of false self, um, or what's also called protective masking. And so this is where you project out into the world what you want the world to see. Usually it's based on what you think the world wants you to be. And so you end up projecting yourself out into the world, pretending to be someone else, wearing a mask, perhaps even having multiple masks, depending on which friend you are with, or which job you're with, or where you are in the world. And so what we want to do in today's session is really peel away at those protective maskings, peel away at the false self, and open up to who you truly are authentically. And yeah, strip away what's not needed, because the more we try and pretend to be someone we're not, the more we're wearing masks, the more we've got to work at things, the harder things are for us. So those two cards are placed on top of our grid. They're sitting right here, right now, and I'm going to be working over those as well. I also checked to see if there was any SOMA bottle that wanted to come up, and this is where the surprise came up, because beforehand I was told we're using the Wands of Horus cards, which is Egyptian in base, but it's also got a very strong Atlantean connection. This is all from my own experience and downloads. And then the Atlantean Paddles came up as well. And then when I drew when I dowsed to see what SOMA bottle came up, the Atlantean bottle came up. So it's like, okay, so clearly there's some connection with Atlantis today, in today's healing as well, some ancestral and old, perhaps karmic stuff that we're clearing. So the theme for this bottle is very strongly related and associated with your purpose, your sense of purpose, and also with decision making. So how we make our decisions in life. It's about communicating from the heart, and it's about trust. So those are all things that we're going to be tackling in today's session as well. Really great for them, for creativity and for the imagination. And it's about that longest journey from head to heart. So making that connection between our head and our heart, our mind and our heart, so that we can have all of those in tune. And the affirmation that goes with this particular bottle is, I express love and truth. I express love and truth. I express love and truth. Okay, so this is all overlaid with what we're working with. So on the side, as I've mentioned, we've got the Wands of Horus cards, we've got the paddles, we've got the cards, we've got the Universal Pendulums and all of that. So we are going to dive in and start with our Macabre balance. Actually, before we do that, let's just quickly zap back to here. What came up for today's focus, like emotion wise, is the word is unique, and it's in relation to miasms or stains on the DNA. So miasm is something that usually holds us back. Unique is something that sets us apart. So how does your uniqueness feel like it's maybe a curse sometimes? And the dimension we have here is misalignment with purpose. So it could be that your uniqueness is holding you back from your purpose. Can that be Does that make any sense to you? For me, that doesn't really make sense because I embrace my uniqueness. I really love that. But I know some people do not feel comfortable with their uniqueness. Some people feel that it separates them from others. So just think about what that feels, what that means for you. Like in my case, I don't associate with this, but I can take myself back to a time when my uniqueness felt like a curse when I was a lot younger. And so I can relive that emotion. And so that on my side, that's what I'm doing. So if you have worked through this before, take yourself back to a time when this was a curse, when it did feel like a curse, when this uniqueness did take you away from your purpose. If you've never experienced this in your life, you're really lucky. Then imagine what it would feel like to be so unique that people dislike you, or that whatever your uniqueness is actually pulls you away from your purpose. Just pretend or imagine what that would feel like, because the deeper we feel, the deeper we heal. The sabotage or the excuse that we have in today's work is I am too conservative, or I am not too conservative. And the emotion here is alive, and it's in relation to magic. So sometimes we feel too conservative. Maybe you feel that you can't do your magic because it's not appropriate. Magic is for children. Um, and or perhaps you're not conservative at all and you put your magic into everything you do every day, and people go like, oh, you need to be a little bit more conservative. So how does this relate to you? I'm too conservative, I'm not too conservative, and it's in relation to alive and magic. So just think about what that means for you, and then we'll work with all of that. That's all going to come into the mix. So without further ado, we are going to jump into our work. We're going to start off by activating the Merkaba field. So what I want you to do is to take a moment to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths in and out. Connect with your heart. Just sense what is happening in the heart. No judgment, just perceive what is happening there. Allow your heart to drop down, or your connection from your heart drop down to the heart of the earth. Send a connection from the heart of the heart of the earth up to your heart again. So you've got this connection going from heart to the heart of the earth and back up. From your heart, send a connection up to the heart of the all that is. And from the heart of the all that is, also drop down a connection down to your heart. So you've got that flow moving in both directions. And then allow yourself to have your energy expand larger and larger, connecting to your soul and sensing the unity with all that is. And we become one. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off by clearing some blockages in a Merkaba field. You may just sit quietly with your eyes closed and follow along, or yeah, whatever feels comfortable for you. So we are working with the Lunar White Universal Pendulum. We are going to be on the first octave, which is the spiritual level. We are clearing blockages. The pendulum color that came up is color white. So I've got it set to white already. And we're going to clear blockages. So I'm going to be using the purple paddle, which is really great for releasing blockages. So here it goes. So we're releasing all the blockages, getting all the blockages out. color white is really great for purifying as well. It's very cleansing energy. Okay, I'm just continuing until the pendulum stops. Okay, pendulum comes to an end. Okay, so now we're going to adjust the energy flow. And the color that's coming up is quite a weird one for energy flow to adjust. So I may have to just do another color after this. It is on the third octave. And we are on, oops, I need to just get into the right color scheme. Oh yeah, that's fine. So I'm on there and it is on there. Okay, so it's quite a long one. This is the physical level. And we're working with noxious, like television emissions. This could also be internet, Wi-Fi, and things like this. So I'm going to be using the yellow paddle for this, just to, this is the yellow one. So we're just adjusting the flow of energy. As we do this, we're activating your Merkaba field. This is your energy field around the body. Quite a multitasking day today. Just breathe slow and deep. Quite heat coming through. I'm just going to smooth this out with one more color, because the specific color that I worked with in the pendulum can be a little bit on the harsh side. So I'm just smoothing this out a little bit. So these first few steps is to activate a Merkaba. So we're getting ourselves switched on so that we can step into our alignment, so that we can then work with what it is that we want to manifest or bring in. I'm just smoothing out using the pink paddle and bringing a little bit of positive green in, just to anchor and smooth out the color that preceded that. Okay. Next, we're going to drop into the heart further. So now we want to activate the heart. I did check to see whether there was an emotion involved here. The emotion that came up, or the word that came up, is production, and it's in relation to addiction. Production in relation to addiction. So addiction, of course, that's not a healthy pattern to have. And production, sometimes we stay busy as a way to escape, or the busyness becomes an addiction, so that we can't get to a place of quiet or silence. We want to drop into the heart space. Interestingly enough, the color that came up here is indigo, and indigo is all about contracting and transmuting. So it actually pulls the auric field in, and it gets us to a state of quiet and silence. So we're working at spiritual levels, so quite a short string over here. So let's get into this. Let's activate the heart. I'm working with the pink paddle again. Breathe slow and deep. Feeling almost like a tube of toothpaste that's being squished from my feet up to the heart and from my head down to the heart. Ooh. Okay. Just take a deep breath in and hold there. Draw the navel in towards the spine, pull the pelvic floor up. Just so you physically squeeze the energy into the heart space. Hold the breath for a moment. And exhale. Beautiful. Next, we're working with the polarities. So now we want to get the polarities clear. So we're going to start off by clearing, then we're going to infuse with light. And we're working on the polarity for the upward and the downward facing triangles within our Merkaba field. The emotion that came up here, something that would be distorting our polarity is hatred. And it's in relation to energy blockages. Now remember, what you resist persists. So the more we hate something and try to push it away, the more we bring that into our lives. So the more you dislike the energy blockages that you may have within your energy bodies and systems, the more you're attracting that. So we actually need to get to a place where we can just be calm about it, just relax, just chill. The body has a way of balancing itself out. Obviously, what we're doing today's session is we are helping that system so that it can get there quicker. We are working with, what is our next color here? Green, positive green. And we're working on the third octave, so it's like quite a long string. So on the physical level, we just want to clear and dissolve any patterns. That is not helping and assisting us over here. So because I'm clearing, I'm working with the purple paddle. The purple paddle is really great for just like boring into that and clearing the stuff. So removing any energy blockages and removing the hatred that sits around that. Okay. Next, we're going to infuse with some light. So we're going to the next pendulum. And our color is blue. We're working on the first octave, so really short string. So working on the spiritual level to infuse with light. I use the yellow paddle for this one just to bring that light quality in. Breathe slow and deep. Okay, we're going to the next level where we're going to clear and dissolve some more. This time we've got the emotion of undesirable, and it's in relation to making amends. Undesirable in relation to making amends. How does this relate to you and also your goal? Where do you need to make amends and where is it undesirable, or where do you perhaps feel that it's undesirable to make amends? how can we work around this? Well, we're going to clear and dissolve this, but just think about what that means for you. We are working with the color infrared. And so let's quickly set this one up. Infrared, and we are on the second octave, which is in the middle. So this is on the mental emotional level where we're clearing. Right, so that was going. I'm using purple paddle again for this one for clearing. So we're releasing and clearing that undesirable in relation to making amends. The infrared is really good to detoxify, to stimulate the energy. It's also really good for repairs. Okay. Next, we're going to infuse with light, and we're looking to infuse with ultraviolet. And this is coming in on the first octave, so a short string again. So on the spiritual level, bringing some ultraviolet in. I'm using pink petal for this one. So infusing with light again. So this is really great to repair in the DNA level. And if there's any block still left, it clears that. And this is really great for expanding the mind as well. So just from a polarity perspective, we've now balanced, almost balanced. The polarity is the positive, the negative, and the neutral within our Merkaba field. So we started with activating it, we dropped into the heart space. Now we're in the polarity phase. It's coming to an end. So once we've got our polarities, positive, negative, and the neutral sorted out, we basically at a point of 0 point. When we're at this neutral 0 point, we can now open up to what it is that we want to receive. Beautiful. Okay. Next, we're going to activate our column of light. So the column of light is where we get into this beam of light coming down. So you may want to imagine or visualize this for yourself. Just imagine this column, very bright column of light that comes around you like a big tube, and you are sitting in the center of this tube. Allow this light to just move in. We're going to start off by clearing and dissolving any damages or tears or any blockages or any debris that may be sitting within your column of light, so that we can have that beautiful and clean. We are working with our one pendulum. We are on electromagnetic. Let's see where I'm at color wise, and the color we're working with is ultra white. So ultra white takes the white up a notch. And let me just quickly see, where am I now? Yep, ultra white. And this is on the third octave, and it's a nice long string. And let's start with clearing and dissolving any blockages that you may have within that column of light. So this ultra white brings in divine power. It's all about purification. And as you know, I douse these colors. I don't just like choose what color to go. I use a pendulum, and also, like I said, I don't analyze to see what's happening beforehand. I'm analyzing it now as I'm going. So while I'm setting up, I don't think about, oh, this will be a good color to have over here. I've got my chart with all my colors, and I douse and I write down my notes. And yeah, this is going. So this is just quite appropriate how the colors come up. There is an emotion over here while this is going, and that the emotion or the feeling is tempt, and it's in relation to quiet. Tempt, quiet. I don't know if that means anything for you or to you. Oh, pendulum just got a knock. That happens when you do multitasking over here. That one just bumped into the wall. Tempt and quiet. Okay, clearly there's a message there. What is the message with tempt, quiet? So now that we've cleared the energy, we are going to infuse some light into that. Just quickly swap to the next pendulum. Color to infuse is positive green on the second octave. So on the mental emotional level. So infusing with light and bringing the yellow paddle in for this one. So yellow is a really nice detoxifier and purifier of energy, and it balances energy. So balancing out that column of light. Okay. So now that your column of light is nice and strong, we've got the heart aligned, we've got everything aligned, we're at a 0 point. Now we're going to do our Merkaba spinning. So what you want to do, this is throughout this following procedure, I want you to focus on how this Merkaba is going to be spinning. So the Merkaba consists of two tetrahedrons. So a tetrahedron is a triangle, like a triangular pyramid. So it's got a three-sided pyramid. And you've got an upward facing pyramid and you've got a downward facing pyramid. So imagine the upward facing pyramid sits maybe at your base of your feet and it comes up above your head. And then you've got the downward facing pyramid that will sit maybe just above your head and then go down to below your feet, so that when you see them full frontal, it's going to look like you have your Star of David. Or you can look at it as the image has got it there. I like to see my body as smaller, so that my body sits within that cube in the center between these tetrahedrons. So just see what feels comfortable for you when it comes to this. I really like to see my body within the center of this. So what we're going to do is the upward facing triangle is going to spin from your right hand side around to the left hand side, from the right hand side around to the left, right to left, right to left. Okay, so this is the upward facing triangle. It's going to spin right to left, right to left. Just visualize that for yourself, how that looks. The downward facing triangle is going to spin from left to right, left to right, left to right. So just visualize a downward facing triangle spinning left to right. Maybe switch between them, upward facing right to left, downward facing left to right. And now see both of them at the same time, spinning in the opposite directions. So as much as possible, you are going to keep that as your focus throughout this next part of the balance, focusing on the spin of the tetrahedrons. Upward facing one going from right to left, downward from left to to right. Keep that in your focus. I'm going to set up with our colors. Our first one here is violet as a color that we're bringing in. This is on the mental emotional level, on octave 2. So we're starting off by reconnecting the heart. So as you're spinning both of these tetrahedrons, upward facing one going right to left, downward facing one left to right. Also bring your focus and your awareness to that center point in your heart. Both of these tetrahedrons spinning. Come to the center point in the heart. Next, what we want to do is we want to bring a protective bubble of light around. It's on like the shortest string. When the spiritual level, we're bringing a silver color in on the spiritual level. So focus on a bubble of light surrounding these spinning tetrahedrons. And in your mind, just follow along with what I'm saying. Create a bubble of energy around, which will filter all energies coming to me, so that only energy will pass through the divine love for the greatest good of all creation. Thank you. Next color that we're bringing through is indigo. And this is on the 3rd octave. Check I've got my correct position. Okay, so we're connecting. In your mind, follow along with what I'm about to say. Just focus on that upward and downward facing triangles. So follow along. Simplify all messages that I receive from my soul so that I can understand them better for the greatest good of all creation. Thank you. Okay, and finally we are bringing in my color, bringing in magenta, and let's get where my position lies. Okay, that's in the 3rd octave. And we're going to just connect with the flow of love. Again, amazing that magenta came up over here. And focusing on this up and down reversing triangle spinning. Just in your mind's eye, follow along. Bring in an abundance of light, love, laughter, and joy of life into my life, so that I will always have everything that I desire with ease and grace for the greatest good of all creation. Thank you. When you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you may open your eyes. Just firmly plant your feet into the ground, just grounding the energies. And we're going to just release a few stuck emotions and infuse some positive emotions. We are working here with eye rotations. I've explained eye rotations to you before, but I've got a visual for you guys this time. So we'll start in position 1, then you go to position 2, which is looking up, then you're looking to one direction, one corner, 3, then to the side, bottom corner, down, side, side, up, up, and then you reverse to side, go all the way around, back to top, and then back to center. Okay, so easiest way to look at this is to imagine a big box in front of you. You look to the middle, to the corner, 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 to the middle, and then reverse that. When doing eye rotations, we want to stretch the eyes. Look as far into the corner as you possibly can. Don't rush this. Look as far as you possibly can. We are going to be tapping behind the ears on the mastoid process. So the round bone just in line with your earlobe and the back, there's a round bone. I like to put the ring finger and thumb together, which is my emotional balance. And then I use the index and the middle fingers to tap that point. The emotion that we're going to be tapping out is furious. So this is when you're so angry that you've got smoke coming out of your ears. You are furious. So let's go. I'm going to use the sentence of I feel furious while tapping and while doing eye rotations. So I feel furious, 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 I feel furious. Okay. Next emotion, we're bringing in a little much better emotion over here. It's going to be I feel tender. So we're going to go same thing, ring finger and thumb together. We're going to be tapping with those two fingers, and we're going to go I feel tender while doing the eye rotations. I feel tender, 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 I feel tender. I feel tender, 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 I feel tender. Okay. Wonderful. So those emotions are now out and we've hit the save button on the computer. So we're going to look at the cards that came up. Let's get all of my paddles out of the way. So we've got 3 cards that came up. The first card is the opportunity card. This is what the opportunity is for today's healing. Then we've got the solution, card 14. This is going to be the homework card. This is what do we have to do. And then 8 is going to be what the result or the success is. And just looking at this reading, this is a pretty awesome reading, because our opportunity here is all about stepping to like self-belief, getting to a place where we really get to believe what we do, where we can go get and we can get to exactly where we need to be. The solution, this is about mirroring. So mirroring people around you, but also being the mirror for yourself, stepping into your own intuitive abilities, trusting your gut, um, diving deeper, really peeling away at the layers that life gives us. And then we've got the result or the success. This is awesome. 8 is like the most grounded energy we have in soul plans. So this is all about things materializing and manifesting. So whatever it is that you're focusing on, making that real in this world, in this reality, and being seen as successful. It is our energy that's also associated with success. So whether success means to you that you feel successful or whether it is actual success within our environment, it doesn't really matter. I would say this is a really awesome one to have. Um, there is an affirmation that goes with the 14-5 energy, and I will have all of that in the descriptions below as well, or in the message, but I'll just quickly read this for you. I am perfectly safe. I am perfectly protected, and I know deep in my essence everything is perfect, everything is okay. I'm perfectly safe. I'm perfectly protected, and I know deep in my essence everything is perfect, everything is okay. I am perfectly safe. I am perfectly protected, and I know deep in my essence everything is perfect, everything is okay. Okay, so the homework and the crystals for support and all of that will be in our description. So just have a look at what your homework is for this week. And then you don't have to do all of it. Pick something that works for you, pick something that you want to work with, and see where it is that your weakness lies within that 14-5 and work towards that. So we're going to tie all of this up, but we're going to balance it all in. And so we're going to start off with our locking in of the energies. So what you'll do is, if you look from the line of the eyeball, if you trace a line down, 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 just to the ribs, just we're looking in the section, to the edge of the rib, there's a little point over there. So from the eye line, tracing down, 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 down to the edge of the rib. That's the 2 points that you're looking for. So I normally put a thumb on one and a middle finger on the other one. Now I've got both of those points. The same distance between those 2 points, I want to just do from that same distance, you want to do like a little upward point, which will be on the sternum, so that you've got an equilateral pyramid between them. Okay, press those 3 points. Give yourself a little bit of a tap on the top of your head. And then you're going to place the fingertips of one hand onto the heart and the fingertips of the other hand onto your tummy, onto your solar plexus, just below the sternum. And we're just going to hold that there. You may feel that your hands want to move a little bit away from the body. That's okay. Release whenever you feel ready. Next, let's get into alignment. Take all 4 fingertips, put them in a line, and they're going to go into a line in the forehead, in the middle of the forehead. The other hand, it doesn't matter which one of the 2 hands you use, other hand goes above your head and it's going to just float up here. If you feel that your hand needs to move a little bit, go for it. That's all fine. Breathe slow and deep. Release whenever you feel ready. And finally, middle fingers on that mastoid process behind the ears. A little bit of pressure, press in there and release. That just hits the save button and we are all good for today's session. Oh, I don't know about you, but I am feeling thoroughly spaced out, which is good. So do some grounding work if you need to. Go walk around barefoot, get out into nature, drink lots of water, and I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Sending you lots of love and light. Take care. Bye.